After the end of World War II and the surrender of Japan, an organization called the Japan Business Federation was created. It was home to more than 1,400 companies, and its goal was to help the Japanese industrial renaissance by organizing business and conveying the demands of companies to the Japanese government. But with the passage of time, the role of this union began to grow so much that in the 70s it became involved in politics. Because of this intervention, the organization has become one of the most influential lobbies in the Japanese economy, and whoever holds the presidency of this organization has become implicitly known as the Prime Minister of the business world. That is why this position is a great honor for all Japanese businessmen and a destination to crown their career. But in order to take this position, the company you run must be successful under your leadership, and that is what Atsutoshi Nishida was trying to do. But during his attempt, he destroyed a great Japanese giant named Toshiba. So how did Toshiba rise to the top, and how did it collapse? And what were the factors that made it collapse? In 1905, Japanese companies were suffering from the war with China and the war with Russia. Among these companies, there were two companies named Tokyo Denki and Shibuya Sasaku. These companies could not bear the great financial pressures and declared bankruptcy. And here the American giant General Electric intervened and bought 25% of Tokyo Denki and 51% of Shibuya Sasaku. And with the onset of World War II in 1939, General Electric decided to merge the two companies and name the new entity Toshiba. And the name is an expression on the beginning of the names of the two companies. After the end of World War II and the United States' support for the Japanese economy, Toshiba flourished and was known for its innovation and quality of manufacture, and it was working on the manufacture of various types of electronic devices. In the 80s, the Japanese government was providing cheap loans and great support to local companies, which is why Japanese companies, including Toshiba, were trying to invest in new technologies. And the talk of the hour at the time was personal computers. And here came the role of Atsutoshi Nishida, who worked immediately after his graduation as an engineer at Toshiba Corporation in the Tehran branch. He was ambitious and industrious, which made him advance in positions. Nishida was convinced of the idea of the laptop, so he started pushing Toshiba to manufacture its own laptop. And in 1985, they succeeded in manufacturing the first laptop. But the firm's corporate executives were not convinced by the idea, which made Atsutoshi fight for it, and in the end, he managed to convince them to bring this product to market. And as Nishida expected, the device made great profits as soon as it hit the market. This made Toshiba the world leader in laptops. But with the beginning of the 2000s, new computer manufacturers appeared, and they were all close in quality, which made consumers go for the cheapest price. And it was Lenovo and Acer. And this is what caused the decline in Toshiba's sales. And in order to overcome this crisis, the company's management went to Nishida, who, according to their opinion, was the one who could get them out of this predicament, since he is the one that had the idea of the laptop. Thus, Atsutoshi became Toshiba's CEO. As soon as he took over as director, things started to return to normal in all the activities that Toshiba does. Until 2008, when the global financial crisis occurred. This made the company suffer in all its fields, and the computer department made losses of $200 million. This made Nishida put pressure on the employees in order to avoid losses, and indeed, in a few months, Toshiba managed to pass the crisis. Therefore, Nishida was promoted to the position of chairman of the board of directors of the company. During the recovery from the crisis, the company faced another obstacle. In 2015, the Securities Commission was notified of the existence of accounting irregularities in Toshiba Corporation, which made the company's management hire investigators to audit the company's accounts, and indeed, arithmetic tricks have been discovered that have been manipulated over the course of 7 years. The value of these manipulations amounted to $1.2 billion. This made many board members, including Nishida, submit their resignations. But why did this happen? When Nishida took over as director, he made the company announce future earnings forecasts. The reason behind this is that when you make expectations and reach them, the value of the company's shares will increase. The problem here is that the goals that Nishida set were unrealistic, and in order to push the employees to reach these numbers, he was putting pressure on them through intimidation policies, which made the employees manipulate the numbers in order to please him. So, what is the result of all these events, and what is their impact on Toshiba? First, there was a collapse of Toshiba's stake in the computer division, with a value of 80%. In 1996, Toshiba controlled 20% of the market, and in 2016, this number fell to less than 5%, and by 2020, this division has been completely sold to Sharp. As for the TV department, it now sells its products under other names. Also, the firm sold many of its factories, and its name was removed from the list of the best companies on the Tokyo Stock Exchange. In 2015, it sold its sensor division to Sony. A year later, it sold the medical department to Canon. And in late 2021, Toshiba divided itself into 3 companies. In the end, we can say that the culture that Nishida established was not good. It is true that it is good to push the employees for the better, but there's a difference between the stress that brings positive results and the one that causes cardiac arrest. And heart attacks did not just hit the employees. In 2017, Atsutoshi Nishida suffered a heart attack and died. And now we have reached the end of the episode. Our question to you is, do you think Toshiba will be able to overcome this crisis? See you in another episode and a new topic.